Good afternoon and welcome to another edition of the Daily Fix. I am your usual host and presenter, Advocate Tudo Hoyani. General Shadrack Sibiya will always feature very prominent in this case, no matter what happens. His name is always coming up. And I've always said General Sibiya has played a background role in the investigation of this matter, but unofficially and sometimes unlawfully, because at times General Sibiya features in the investigation of this trial at a time when he was dismissed from the South African Police Service. So as the cross-examination of Mnisi Sibiya continues in the Pretoria High Court, Baloyi sought to discredit the evidence of Mnisi Sibiya that he had been assaulted at 3 different places, and that if he had been assaulted at Ras and Diepkloof and so on, that evidence was tendered by Mboto, that there was no way that he could be walking. He ought to be, being ferried around in an ambulance if he had been assaulted that severely. Sibiya, like I've always said, stood his ground and was so resilient. Sibiya told the Pretoria High Court that the police have refined their interrogation methods such that they can assault a person in a manner that will not be physically visible. In other words, they are so sophisticated that they can beat you up severely, but it does not show. So he told the court that I was not being ferried around in an ambulance, but the fact of the matter is that I had been assaulted 3 different times. So that is how it came up, and Sibiya tried to resist Baloyi's cross-examination. But I just want to listen to this, and I will come back to the reaction of the judge, which is very significant. After you have listened to this clip, I'll come back and refer to the judge, to what the judge wants to say there, and the response of Advocate Mnisi, Sibiya's lawyer. Take a listen to this.
He says they cannot assault a person 3 times and then he comes to the office walking. That is not true, my lord. I want to deny that again based on those facts. The gentleman was going to come by an ambulance if he was assaulted 3 times, 3 places like that. That is not true.
Usike ngiyakuphikisa lokho usho ngomhla ka-13 October uthi ngiyakuphikisa mina ukuthi ke umuntu othe yena ushaywe kathathu bese ke eza ehhovisini azihambela kahle lo muntu lo bekazoza ngeambulance uma ukuthi ushaye kathathu ashaywa ke eindaweni eintathu ezihlukile.
Mina ngashawa endaweni eintathu ezihlukile kodwa ngafika eDiepkloof ngaphinde ngashawa khona kodwa akaze ngize ngihambe ngeambulance. Lento ekhulunywa uMbotho ayikho, ukhuluma into engekho uMbotho uqamba manga. Mina la ngashawa amaphoyisa engishaya eThembisa, angishaya eFosforas, angishaya eDiepkloof. And manje ngishaya amaphoyisa enza sure angishaya ngendlela angazi ukuthi afunde ngayo ukuthi umuntu mawumshaya akabonakala ukuthi umshayile.
I was assaulted at these 3 places that I had mentioned earlier, where it was in Thembisa, Fosloras, and Diepkloof. And I think they assaulted me in the manner in which, like one would say that they've got their own way of assaulting someone and making sure that that person is not visible, that they're being assaulted.
La nginosbiya naye kade ekhuluma manje la kwiParliament ukuthi amaphoyisa anokubulala akuplate ngesibhamu ukuthi wena ethi wona ukwadubula.
And also it was stated now by Sibiya that police officers are capable of killing you and saying that they found the firearm with you or plant you with or falsely implicate you with a firearm and say that you were trying to shoot them.
Wathi useyesaba usabela umndeni wakhe naye uMbotho kuyothi makudibane naye lokho ngelinye ilanga uyoshutha amaphoyisa mayekushaya akwenza ukuthi ungaboni ngeke uzuhambe ngeambulance mawushaya amaphoyisa.
No, he's just protecting uthi yena uvikela umndeni wakhe bani.
No, ngithi uSibiya uthwesabela umndeni wakho amaphoyisa ayadublana.
Sibiya said that he was fearing for his life because police officers can shoot you. So he would one day also come up with this, when he comes up with this, when he sees this as his statement, then he'll also come here and say that he's also fearing for his life.
Ngenze usuyihlanganisileke le nkulumo le. Ngithi mina uMbotho naye ngelinye ilanga kuyodibana naye lokhu kushaywa ngamaphoyisa.
This court won't take to notice what you are saying because there's no evidence before this court about that. This court, I don't know about the other courts where people are called cat or what have you.
Kose katolo kukhulunyiwe nje ngecala lami laseThembisa mina.
No, yes, your case in Tembisa, being assaulted, no problem. But when you're quoting the Madlanga Commission,
Angikhothanga imadlana.
oh Sibiya, who's Sibiya?
uShadrack Sibiya bekhuluma eParliament hayi imadlana.
Yes, you are saying that in Madlanga Commission, is that not so? Okay, but this court can't be seized with it.
Yes.
Example, please.
I'm sorry to interfere, but here again, the name of General Sibiya is not a far-fetched name in this trial. Remember, the state even also considered that in 2019, when Mr. Sibiya, this one, was arrested, he was, there was Lishabane, there was General Sibiya, and there was Zungu. I think there was also a Makubo there. I specifically asked, who is this Sibiya that you're talking about? He said General Sibiya. So he's basically involved in this case. His name is not far-fetched. It's his name, the fact that his name is mentioned in this case, that was actually what was considered to by the state itself.
Yes, Mr. Belay.
My Lord, that is not the issue. The issue is the proposition that we put to the witness that given the fact that he was assaulted at 3 different places, kicked with booted feet, Colonel Mboto says if that was the position, then he would have sustained far serious injuries. That's what we are putting to the to the witness.
Umshushu sakusho ke yena ukuthi uyayicacisa lento le ukuthi can you please repeat that?
Yes. We have put the response of Lieutenant Colonel Mboto on the 13th of October 2023 at page 75 on your allegations of assault. He testified as follows, and this we see from line 16. They cannot assault a person 3 times and then he comes to the office walking. That is not true, my Lord. I want to deny that again based on those facts. The gentleman was going to come by an ambulance if he was assaulted 3 times, 3 places like that. That is not true.
Akusho ke ukuthi uMbotho wafika la mhla ka 13 kuOctober. Mhla ka 13 kuOctober 2023 wazisela enkantolo ukuthi ke insolo lezi bezibekiwe ukuthi ke wena washaywa uyazinqaba noba ke akavumelani nabo uthi ngendlela le uchaze ngayo ukuthi washaywa ke endaweni ezintathu ezihlukile ushaywa ukhahlelo nokukhahlelo bozobe ulimele kakhulu kunangendlela ofike uzihambela ngayo kodwa ke mawukuthi lokho bekwenzekile kamampela bozofika uhamba ngeambulance uthi uyaziphika ke lezo insolo zokuthi wena washaywa.
Ngashawa uMbotho wayengekho mangishawa. Ngiyacabanga ukuthi uMbotho lento ayikhulumayo umcabangelo umbono wakhe ukuthi ucabanga ukuthi kube kuya ngaye wakuzoba kanjalo. Mina ngashawa eThembisa, ngashawa eFosforus, ngashawa eDekloof. I
was assaulted at these 3 different places, in Tembisa, in Foslo, and in Dekloof. Maybe that's his own opinion that if someone was assaulted, then they would come with an ambulance. I was assaulted 3 places, and then I came walking. I did not come with an ambulance.
And you say that after you had this engagement with Lieutenant Colonel Mboto, you were then put in the Qashqai that was driven by Ngamani.
A cash.
The interesting thing to note there is that when Sibiya went on with his explanation, he also referred to the ad hoc committee and told the court that in the ad hoc committee, it had emerged that police in fact use underground methods. Police have killed each other. They've also falsely implicated each other in criminal activities. So it is not unheard of to see police engage in all sorts of criminality. It was at this stage that Judge Ratha intervened, and he was visibly shaken by what Sibiya was saying. And Judge Ratha intervention was to the effect that, no, don't tell me anything about what is happening in the Matlanga Commission. And Sibiya had made no mention of the Matlanga Commission. He was talking about the ad hoc committee. And Sibiya reiterated that I'm not talking about the Matlanga Commission. I am talking about the ad hoc committee in Parliament. But apparently, Judge Ratha would not hear anything of that because, he was so dismissive of the whole thing that don't tell me about those other courts, that this court will take no notice of what you are saying. If you are referring to some other courts where people called cat, he waved his hand like this, just like I'm waving mine now. So he was so dismissive about the whole thing. And it was at that stage that Advocate Mnisi came in just at the right moment, and Advocate Mnisi told the court that, this General Sibiya that is being referred to here, who was talking in the ad hoc committee, to the effect that policemen have indulged in illegalities of one sort or another, is the same Sibiya who is featuring in this trial. So that mention of Sibiya cannot by any stretch of imagination be said to be far-fetched. Because as Advocate Mnisi rightly pointed out, General Shadrack Sibiya was present when the accused were arrested, or when Mnisi Sibiya was arrested in May 2020. And that is significant again because at that time, in May 2020, when Mnisi Sibiya was arrested, there was Mboto, I think there was Buthelezi and others. But General Shadrack Sibiya was certainly there. And at that time, General Shadrack Sibiya was not a policeman. He was a civilian and had no business to be part of that arrest or that investigation. So Mnisi intervened to say that, that there's nothing wrong with Mnisi Sibiya bringing up that evidence transpiring or being heard in the ad hoc committee of Parliament. But in typical fashion, Judge Ratha, just inquired from Baloyi, and Baloyi just simply dismissed everything. In typical fashion, Judge Ratha does not make a ruling. Whenever there's an objection about anything in a court of law, the presiding officer, judge or magistrate has to make a ruling so that going forward. So he just let Baloyi go on and on and on. But the interesting thing is, here is General Shadrack Sibiya's name coming up once more. And it is coming up at a time when General Sibiya had been dismissed from the police services, because you'll recall he was dismissed in 2015 and only reinstated in 2022. So what was General Sibiya doing here? And there is no irrelevance about the testimony of Mnisi Sibiya. Not at all. General Sibiya is central to this. He plays this background role, but he's always featuring all over the place. Thank you very much for listening to this video, for watching this video, and have a wonderful, wonderful day. Thank you.